Hello friends, this is Deepak and I am a tax code advisor, and today I want to talk to you about 1099s. So we are in the month of January, and by next month, in the month of February, March, we're going to start receiving 1099s in mail. And I want to talk to you guys so you can avoid some of the silly mistakes that can be very costly to you. So let's start out with small business owners, especially the ones who started their companies last year, because you might not be familiar with this 1099 rule. So if you started a business, and maybe some of the established ones as well, if you paid somebody more than $600 last year, 600, then you need to issue them 1099. And you need to issue that 1099 before the end of the month. That means you need to file it with the IRS, you need to deliver it to whoever's supposed to receive it. If you don't do that, then penalties are huge. It's $60 per 1099 that you miss, and after 30 days it goes up to $120. After that, I think by August it goes to $310. Still don't do it, $630. So the penalties are skyrocketing on this stuff. So imagine if you didn't submit that 1099 for next year or two, and then IRS comes back to you, they can penalize you $630, and it's per 1099. So if you miss 15, 20, that can be a steep penalty. So that's why I say new business owners might not know this rule. That's why I'm emphasizing that if you started a business last year, then please pay attention to this. Who do you need to issue 1099 to? You need to issue it to anyone you paid more than $600. So if you paid somebody $300, $200, don't worry about it. You're good. It's all good. If you paid to someone who has an S Corp or C Corp, you're good. You're all set there. If they are an attorney, if they are a sole prop, if they are a partnership, you got to issue 1099. If you have a foreign worker, maybe they're US citizen, they're working out of different country from Mexico, Canada, India, you still got to issue them 1099 because they still are linked to US. However, if they are not linked to US, maybe they're foreign national altogether, then you don't have to issue 1099. You're good to go there. So just kind of watch out for those simple rules. Like I said, if you made a payment to an attorney, you got to issue them a 1099. If you made a payment, most tax professionals are typically sole props, so make sure you issue them 1099. If you paid them by credit card, then you're good. You don't have to worry about it. If you paid by credit card company will send them a 1099. So you're okay. If you paid them by one of those payment apps like Venmo or PayPal or Zelle or something like that, and you have no option whether it's a business transaction or a personal transaction, then pay attention to that, because if it's a personal transaction, then no 1099 is going out. That means you're still on the hook for filing that 1099. Does that make sense? That means you made a payment to another business owner, and you said, look, I'm paying you as a personal expense. That at least that's what you wrote in one of those apps, but you're taking that as a deduction on your business tax return. There's a problem there. If you're claiming it on your business, you got to make sure you issue 1099. Otherwise, there will be a mismatch, and once again, you can be stuck with penalties. So just be careful with that. If you had more than 10 1099s, which is quite possible, a lot of time business owners write checks, and you have more than 10 last year, then you must do so electronically. You must file them electronically. If you don't file them electronically, then once again you can get penalized big time. And then you have to, if you want to request IRS to waive the penalties, then that can take a long time, as you guys know, and it's a very tedious process. Sometimes that works, sometimes doesn't work, but it is possible. So if you got stuck with that penalty, you can still reach out to us and we can see if we can get them waived or at least reduced. But understand that it's a very time consuming, and it takes a good amount of effort. So not that easy, but possible. So those are the basics for those of you guys who are business owners and you made a payment to somebody for for doing some work or providing you some service. So pay attention to those rules. Now, what if you received a 1099, and why would you receive one? So let's just say, one of you guys watching this video said, hey, Deepak, I want to help you organize an event in my city. For example, I don't have an office in Chicago. And somebody watching this video might say, you know what, I can organize an event for Deepak to come out here and speak and share some of his tax strategies with my clients or my group. And you say, look, Deepak, I'm going to organize an event and I'm going to put 100 people together in a room. I'll charge you $2,000. Now you're a small business owner. That $2,000 is going to be 1099 to you. But it's not bad. Actually, it's pretty good. So I'll tell you why. Let's just say if you were my employee, if I would have hired you on a W-2, and let's say your salary was $2,000, did the same amount. What would happen is, first thing you would do is, out of that $2,000, 7.5% will be deducted from your paycheck in FICA tax, and another 7.5% I will have to pay. That means total of 15% will be paid in FICA taxes on that $2,000. So that's like right off the bat. But when I pay you as 1099, I save 7.5. I don't have to pay that 7.5 as an employer. And you save 7.5 because you don't have to pay that FICA tax either. So you're good there. However, you're on the hook to pay self-employment tax, which is 15%, 7.5 of your share and 7.5 of my share. So you might be thinking, well, if I have to pay 15%, and if I were a W-2 employee, then I have to pay 7.5%. So it's better that I be a W-2 employee. Why get 1099? So let's talk about that. The reason why 1099 are preferred method for business owners is because you get to write off expenses. So in order to organize that event, you probably have to drive to that event place to make the booking and arrange and all that. What did you do for that? You use your car. Maybe you bought a car. Maybe you use computer. Maybe you use internet. Maybe you use phone. You see all these expenses? I can write them off as a business expense. I can bring my $2,000 income minus $2,000 in expenses, and my net income is zero. Nothing. Okay? And by the way, on that topic, if you have more than zero, like if you have more expenses, please don't claim it. That's just gonna invitation for audit, unnecessary. Don't run your company into losses. Zero is good. Maybe show a little bit of income if possible, but don't run into losses. Not a good strategy. There are better ways to make money. So that's why 1099 is preferred. So if you received a 1099, don't just go and do your stuff on TurboTax or try to do it on your own. Talk to a tax professional so they can properly account for expenses and bring that income down to as low as possible so you pay the least amount of taxes possible. So 1099 is actually a good thing. And this was a small example of $2,000. People write off their trucks, people write off their snowmobiles. There are companies out there that are writing off their jumbo jet. I mean, Trump flies all over the place in his jet, right? What do you think? Is he not writing that off in his tax return? Of course he is. People travel to overseas. People, fly business class. People fly, all sorts of things people do as a business expense. So there are a lot of opportunities out there. You just need to be able to talk to a good tax professional who can help you understand it and structure your income and expenses in such a way that they give you the maximum benefit. So if you are not currently doing any business or you're not involved in any kind of side hustle, then I encourage you to please consider that. If you're looking for ideas, reach out to me and I can connect you with people who perhaps can offer you some opportunities and something to get started with. So if you receive that 1099, my advice would be is you work with a tax professional to come up with a strategy instead of just go file your tax return and pay the tax on that $2,000. Okay. And lastly, I want to talk to some of you guys who might actually misclassify somebody who's supposed to be actually a W-2 employee and you misclassify them as 1099. That can be a costly mistake as well. So, state of California, for example, has gone after Uber, Lyft, and then it went on. They were trying to, and other states are following too. So states like their FICA tax. States like people to be W-2 employees. They love that. Not so much 1099s and small business owners, because of the very reason they get to do a lot of deductions, and they don't like that. They would rather take the tax on the full amount. So that's why you need to be very, very careful. So for example, if you have a control over an employee, that means you tell them, hey, come at this time. I want you to use this office. I want you to use this computer. They're using your equipment. If you have substantial control over that employee, that's a W-2 employee. Even if they work from home, by the way, they don't have to work at your office. If you control, you got to show up for the meeting. You got to come here at this time. All that stuff, that means they're a W-2 employee. In matter of fact, now the new rules suggest that if they are an important part of your business, like their key employee, regardless of other stuff, they're still your employee and they need to go on W-2. So if you are confused about that, then please, before issuing that 1099, run it by your tax professional, let them explain it to you, or reach out to your attorney and make sure they're classified properly. Because if they're not, and you issue them 1099, then you won't be dealing with 1099 penalties, but you could be dealing a lot of FICA penalties, and they are nasty. They're really nasty. You don't want to go there. So please don't make that mistake. If they're an employee, treat them as W-2 employee. Don't make them 1099. So I think that explains this whole 1099 concept a little bit more in details. Some of the events that are coming up for us, just as a reminder, we are in the month of January, so every 2 weeks we do a financial outlook call. In that one, we take a look at various trends that are emerging in the financial markets and where we see the economy is heading and what kind of hurdles we are seeing, what can we watch out for, what can we anticipate. So we try to take a look at all that information. That happens every 2 weeks. So if you are not already part of those calls, just reach out to me via WhatsApp on my 888 number, and then I can give you that link to join those meetings. So that's coming up. We will have a real estate meeting coming up next week. We'll take a look at a lot of real estate data. So those of you guys interested in doing some real estate transactions this year, and you're curious as to what's happening in the real estate world, you can get a lot of information from that call. So that's coming up. We have a live event coming up in Milpitas. That's happening in February as well, February 24th to be exact. And that's a tax event, so half-day program, only focus on tax strategies. We have an event coming up in Austin, in Dallas, Houston. We have one coming up in North Carolina. If you are interested in organizing an event, definitely reach out to me. If you want me to speak at your event, it could be your friends, family members, it could be at your work. Maybe you want to organize a small event together. Reach out to me, we can do that. If you need a small business advisory consult, so I run these calls. So this is a monthly program, $300 a month. And in those programs, once a month we meet. We talk about not just about taxes, but we talk about how do we grow your business. We take a look at the marketing, we take a look at the sales, we take a look at the coaching programs, employees, all kind of stuff. It's really about growing your business. So those of you guys who are starting a business, you need an extra set of eyes, some additional experience that we can bring to the table. You can sign up for that. So a lot of ways to connect with me, and I'm looking forward to meeting with you guys in person as well. So please don't be a stranger. Reach out to me if I can be of any help to you guys. Okay. Thank you so much. And once again, I look forward to seeing you very, very soon. Thank you.